Hey guys, Hofster here, and today I'm going to be testing out the new ORYX abilities here on the Content Creator Private Testing. If you're wondering about when these items will be released, I don't actually know, so I can't tell you anything about that, but when they are released, you will be able to trade in 15 shards of the Intern, which will probably be dropping from event chests, etc., to get a random one at the Tinker, or you can give him 30 shards and he will let you choose which of the abilities you want. Now these abilities are very unique in that they have a lot of different effects. I will do my best to cover these quickly and efficiently so that you guys don't have a hard time understanding, as the tooltip for Realm of the Mad God is not the best. Now before we jump in, I'm going to be giving descriptions of all the items as well as showing you the shots of the ability at least, and then I'm also going to be including at the end a compilation of me using all the abilities with timestamps in the description, so if you want to see a particular ability in use for a short period of time, you can just click on that. Otherwise, here are the descriptions of the items. So let's jump into the Helm of the Exalted Might for the Warrior. Starting off, 25% chance to deal a burst of 1,000 damage within 5 squares around you, so a big burst of damage, pretty cool. It gives you 30 dex and minus 15 attack as well from that ability. It also gives you Berserk for 5.5 seconds within 5 squares, as well as the party around you, and then it gives 10 defense. I really like this helmet. It makes you shoot very fast on a warrior, and if you wear a lot of attack boosting things, you don't really even lose out on much DPS, especially since you're getting a 30 dex boost. That's pretty crazy. Next we have the Seal of the Battle God. Now this is for the Paladin. The first ability that this one offers is Stagger. So when you are below 400 HP, you have Armored on Self for 3 seconds, and then when you are above 400 HP, the counter ability increases your attack by 150 for 0.5 seconds, and it also gives a 5.5 square damaging party buff for 5 seconds. Now the Stagger is pretty good. It can save you if you're just using the seal and you take a big chunk of damage, drop below 400 HP, and then you have a jug pretty much. The counter is also pretty good. It gives you that 150 attack, so like 2 or 3 shots, depending on if you're warrior buffed or not, get massive increased damage, so a little extra DPS for the Pally never hurt, especially when you have the safety of the Stagger ability. Cooldown of 3 seconds on using the seal, so you can't spam it, but it's not a long cooldown. Next up, we have the Brutal Buckler for the Knight. Now it's going to do 350 to 450 damage. At full strength, which is above 700 HP, you shoot a massive circular projectile around you, as well as a normal stun that already does a bunch of damage. So if you're standing on something, you can do a massive amount of damage to it, as well as the shield already just does a lot of damage from the bash. There is no stun on this, but it has 4 range. It pierces and it passes through obstacles. It also gives you 40 HP, 4 attack, and 10 defense. I really like this Knight ability, as you can just run around and do crazy amount of damage to minions that you don't really need to stun. Just exploding them is good enough. Next we have the Mad Javelin. Now this is for the Archer. It's going to be doing 800 to 1300 damage, which is a pretty high amount. It does have a cooldown of 3 seconds, so you cannot spam it. The first ability that this offers is the Mental Click, which is a 33% chance of increasing attack by a further 10. And as you can see, you get plus 5 attack for 2 seconds with that ability, so it can get up to 15 attack. It has 15 range, just like all the other quivers. It pierces and passes through obstacles. It also gives you 10 attack on equip, but minus 3 dexterity. 120 MP cost is pretty high, and as long as you have a rare or higher pet, it shouldn't be too bad with the cooldown of 3 seconds. Next we have the Chief's Warhorn for the Bard class. Now the first ability that this offers is the Defending Blast, so you can apply slowed for 4 seconds to enemies within 4 squares, which has a 10-second cooldown, so every 10 seconds you can slow stuff around you. Pretty cool. On use, you can place down a banner for 5 seconds, which applies Berserk to allies within 4 squares, so kind of like the M seal, but just Berserk. It's pretty cool, especially with the Bard, you shoot really fast. It also gives 3 def, 3 dex. Pretty good. 120 MP cost and a 5-second cooldown. Makes it not very spammable unless you have a very good pet. Next we have the Blacklight Artifice. This is the trap for the Huntress. It says 0 damage, but I believe that's just a visual bug for now. It does 700 damage within 4 squares, and it deploys on yourself. It has a pretty big range of just 700 damage flat. It also has another ability called Lasting Damage, which is a 33% chance to wound enemies ensnared in your trap for 5 seconds. So if they get hit, they can get a little bleed that deals 750 damage over 5 seconds, which is kind of cool. It doesn't do amazing damage, but not that bad. 3-second cooldown on this, as well as a 110 MP cost, makes it a pretty good trap for dealing with stuff that's rushing at you. Next, we have the Cloak of the Darkened Sun. So the first ability that this one offers is Strike Precautions. You get 100 max HP for 4.5 seconds when you use this cloak above 550 HP. The next ability is you restore 20 HP every time you're hit while you're invisible and above 550 HP with a 0.6 second cooldown. This can be very helpful. And then we have another ability called the Emergency Ration, which is a restore of 80 HP when you're hit while invisible and below 550 HP. That has a cooldown of 4 seconds, which doesn't actually interfere with the Stealth Guard, so you could just get an additional 80 HP when you're below, and then the 20 HP will take over once you're back above 550 HP. The effect on self is invisible for 4.5 seconds, and you get 3 defense on equip as well, 90 MP cost, and a cooldown of 6 seconds. This cloak heals you for a crap ton and is very good, especially if people are anti-roguing you or there are a lot of projectiles flying around that hit you while you're cloaked. Next, we have the Tyrants Toxin for the Assassin. Let's talk about the poison before we talk about the cluster. The poison is going to be doing 750 damage, 500 on impact, within 3 squares over 2 seconds, so a pretty decent amount of damage by itself, but it also explodes into 3 cluster bombs, which have a smaller radius, 1.5 tiles, from the center of the first poison. The cluster damage is 550 over 2.5 squares, which is pretty strong. I really like this poison. It seems to be doing a lot of damage compared to the others. And then it has another 2 abilities, Alchemical Boon, which is a 33% chance to restore 50 MP every time you use it. That's pretty cool. And the Alchemical Inhibition, which is 33% chance to decrease your speed by 20 for 5 seconds. A little sketchy there, but as long as you're far enough away throwing this poison, then you should be all good. It gives 3 attack, 3 defense, minus 5 whiz, no cooldown, but a whopping 150 MP cost, making it very important to be wearing MP items while using it. Next, we have the Prism of Shattered Light for the Trickster. The first ability that it offers is Upper Hand, which gives you 15 attack for 4 seconds when used above 450 HP. This has a cooldown of 6 seconds. It also has the ability Tactical Retreat, which makes you invisible for 6 seconds when used below 450 HP with a 7-second cooldown. It also shoots a decoy at 180 degrees, so the opposite way that you're running, it'll shoot a decoy, making it a little easier to hit since you don't have to aim your dagger behind you when you throw the decoy. It also gives 6 speed, which is okay, pretty good, I guess. 85 MP makes it pretty usable, especially with a 6-second and 7-second cooldown. Next, we have the Rage Claws for the Ninja. It does 275 to 400 damage per shot. The first ability that it offers is Killer Instinct, which is a 33% chance to boost your attack or dexterity by 15 for 3 seconds. So pretty nice there. Now it does say Wakizashi here, but that is only because of a glitch with the Ninja Star. So just ignore that and pretend it says Ninja Star. So it fires 3 shots at 11.25 degrees, and that has a couple cast ranges of 5.625 squares, so you can't really throw it too far away from you. It also fires 3 more shots at negative 11.25 degrees, so just a lot of shots at whatever you're looking at. That also has a specific activation range. Shots hit multiple targets, and the shots boomerang. This is pretty good. It's just essentially extra damage that you can shoot out and pierces. Amazing for crowd control. I really enjoy this item as well. 90 MP allows you to spam it quite often as there is no cooldown, so you can really benefit from that chance to boost your attack and dexterity. And for the Samurai, we have the Amaterasu. Something like that. 300 to 350 damage, with the first ability being Flawless Technique, which is a 20% chance not to consume mana, which is pretty cool, especially if you don't have the best pet. It has a 6.3 range, shots hit multiple targets, and shots pass through obstacles. They expose for 3 seconds with a 120 MP cost. This Waki is extremely good in my opinion, as it does a massive controlled shot on one single location instead of a little more spread out. So it's pretty cool. I definitely will be getting this one. Next, we have the Siege Scepter for the Sorcerer. The first ability of this is the Mad God's Wrath. Release a Nova of dazing 200 damage shots across 3.5 tiles, which daze for 3 seconds. The Nova cooldown is 20 seconds, so only every once in a while will you be able to shoot this Nova that dazes. The lightning of the Scepter goes to 4 targets with max wisdom, 510 damage with no decreasing damage to the targets. An MP cost of 110 makes the Scepter pretty expensive to use, but if you have a decent pet, then you can definitely keep up with spamming it. The Nova proves pretty useful for damaging things that don't deal much damage, but ideally you don't want to be standing on anything as a sorcerer, so the days can be kind of hard to hit. Next we have the Tome of the Tarnished Gods. Now this is quite an interesting tome, so sit back. The first ability, Light Energy, will create a healing orb when used below 400 HP, which heals about 120 HP a second, if I did my calculations correct, to 15 targets. So you can't use it in a massive group. But if you are above 400 HP, it creates a damaging darkness orb with the Dark Energy ability, which does 350 damage per second over 6 squares, and the cooldown is 4 seconds. It also has a healing buff to everyone within 9.5 squares for 6.3 seconds. It gives you 45 MP and 7 wisdom as well. I couldn't really find any uses for this except dealing extra damage on a priest without risking not being able to heal yourself, since when you drop below 400 HP, you do get the healing orb. But it's not a crazy amount of damage, and the healing is not insane. After the 4-second cooldown, you can have another orb, but only for 2 seconds. So it's not crazy OP, but it's a decent tome for that healing. Next, we have the Mystic. Now, this one is more interesting in my opinion. It has the first ability of Beacon of Blight, which constructs a beacon that damages and curses nearby enemies in 3 bursts for 2 seconds. So over that 2 seconds, the following abilities all happen. So the first explosion is a curse for 3 seconds, which will inflict 400 damage within 5 squares. The second explosion is a curse for 6 seconds that inflicts 500 damage within 4 squares. And then the third explosion is a curse for 9 seconds, which inflicts 600 damage within 3 squares. And then there's also another ability that has a 30-second cooldown, which increases your attack by 10 for 5 seconds. It also gives 4 attack, 4 dex, and costs 120 MP. So 120 MP, nothing to mess around with, but this orb does do a lot of burst damage if you can land it properly. Next we have the Demon's Lord Skull for the Necromancer. Now I really like this skull, and you'll soon find out why. The first ability is Dark Ritual, which is a 70% chance to summon an undead demon minion. Now these demons do 250 damage every 0.5 seconds and last for 6 seconds, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage. The skull does not heal, but it does 375 damage with max whiz and these equips within 4 squares, and it ignores 125 defense. Gives you 65 HP and costs 110 MP. You can definitely spam this with a good pet, and the demons are extremely strong, especially for a Necromancer. And finally, we have the Cursed Spire spell. Now your damage is going to be 500 to 600 with this one, and it also has Mayhem Aegis, which is an ability that gives a 50% chance to boost defense by 15 for 3 seconds. With a range of 7.5 on the shots from the spell and piercing capabilities, you can deal a lot of damage if you get this spike placed down in the right location. Now the problem is this spell deploys on yourself, so as a wizard you're going to have to go deep, place the spell, and pray that it does enough damage to be worth using, which it kind of doesn't, but at least it's really good at clearing crowds of monsters. That's going to be it for the new ORYX abilities. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and which one you will be getting when they get released on production, which hopefully will be soon. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the gameplay, and I'll see you in the next one.
I wanna believe that I can reach inside your heart into where it bleeds and touch the places where your scars have left their mark on you. I wanna heal and soothe, and we will see if you believe it too. Come on and try. I wanna believe that I can reach inside your heart to where it bleeds. I see in your eyes signs of hard times, but then you smile, yeah, makes the darkness fade. Let's say goodbye to sorrow. I know we can fly, yeah, like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow. No I can't just call you when the moon is rising. I'm craving every moment with you. I can't just need you when the tides are turning. I cherish every second with you. I've got to hold on to your heart every day of the week, every week of the year. I've got to rewind and restart till you get what you need, till you get all of me.
the reason why we chose to say goodbye, but I can't help my feelings. Right now, I can't deny you never left my mind, and now my heart is bleeding. Why did I have to break it up? Guess I was just a young girl living in a dream world. I thought that I'd be better off, but now I pay the price I do. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things that I should do, so I can't forget, but you're always on my mind. Thought you'd be gone by tomorrow, but you're still there tomorrow, and the next day, the next day. I wish I wouldn't remember how you make me feel better in the best ways, the best ways. When I lay down at night, I miss you by my side, telling me about your secrets. I dream and fantasize that I come by your house, telling you about my regrets. Why did I have to break it up? Guess I was way too shallow, my mind was way too narrow. I thought that I'd be better off, but now I pay the price I do. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things that I should do, so I can't forget, but you're always on my mind. Thought you'd be gone by tomorrow, but you're still there tomorrow, and the next day, the next day. I wish I wouldn't remember how you make me feel better in the best ways, the best ways. I know why we say goodbye, but can we turn that bye into hello? I know how to love you now. No matter what I do, I can't let go. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things that I should do, so I can't forget, but you're always on my mind. Thought you'd be gone by tomorrow, but you're still there tomorrow, and the next day, the next day. I wish I wouldn't remember how you make me feel better in the best ways, the best ways.
If I'm the bad one, take a look at yourself in the mirror. If I'm the worst one, ask anybody else who they prefer. If it comes down to me and you, I think that you are the one with a bad attitude. What sort of conflict? You got no clue. Tell me, what is your problem? All these rules you spread doesn't make you feel good. Too close bloodshed, 'cause I don't really get it. Thank you.